Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're about 1 minute ahead of time, so we're going to give another minute for people to join. Please be patient. Every time we start too early and then people still joining, so let's give them another minute. Strange how this is always the longest minute ever. Diresh, do you think we can start? Not yet.
Yeah, I think so. We can go for it because we're on 147 now. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Elmarie Uester. I'm Executive Client Relations and Wellness, and I'm joined by a panel of experts from each department. So you're welcome to ask your questions in the question and answer functionality. But please note that it's not private. People can see your question. So please refrain from asking personal questions or use your personal information when you ask a question. Rather send an email afterwards and then we will respond to it. I will also allow time at the end of this session, although we're going to rush, but I'm going to make time that at the end of the session, you can ask me questions. Personally, I feel that's the value of these sessions is the interaction. And if you ask a question, other people also want to ask the same question, but it might be only too shy to do so. So tonight we're going to speak about, if my mouse is working with us, we're going to speak about, I'm so sorry for that. That was what I was worried about. Oh my word, just a moment. You know, we did this for many, many years and nothing ever went wrong until this year. Then everything, with every session, there's something that's not lekker. But let's do this. No, can you see? But it's okay. Let's wait. Let me try something else. Okay, let's see. This is right. And if I do this, then I remove.
That is perfect, Elmarie. Just need to go back to the first slide and then it can start.
Okay. The thing is, it doesn't move. Can you see?
Yes, but that is you're starting at the last slide.
Elmarie. Oh my
yes.
word. I'm done. I'm not sure if you. And you know, and now you see both or not?
We are seeing both. Now it's perfect. Thank you.
Perfect. I apologize for that. We're going to speak about Pace1 and Beat4. Let me just calm down my nerves a little bit. We're going to speak about Beat4 and Pace1 because the two options are very, very close to each other. It's like a brother and sister or two sisters. It look and feel the same. It has this exactly the same exclusions. And the most important thing is it excludes joint replacements. So the sequence of our product range work from Beat1, Beat2, Beat3, Pace1, and then Beat4, Pace2. And sometimes people think if they on Pace1 and they want to upgrade, they think they need to go to Pace2. They don't need to. They can go to Beat4. But sometimes the same things that's negative on Pace1 will be negative for them on Beat4. But we must just remember that Beat4 is similar to Pace1, but offer you more benefits. But when I say more benefits, I mean higher amounts for the same kind of benefits. Okay, so that's the most important. We've tried to, or I tried to change the presentation, and I was last minute doing it by grouping the benefit groups together and show you the differences between the options. But while doing that, we're going to focus a lot on the structure of the options. So on both the Pace1 as well as Beat4, the hospital benefit is a standalone benefit. And a standalone benefit, it's not deducted anywhere. It's standalone, and it's similar to any of our other options, namely that it doesn't have an overall limit. You can go on these two options to any private hospital, but you need authorization. And this is the information that you would give to the nurses or the department when you ask for authorization. We're going to send you 2 presentations and the recording of tonight's sessions. Now, the presentations will be one of Pace1 and one of Beat4. Otherwise, you're going to be like a bietjie de mekaar. So we've separated the 2 options, but when we discuss it tonight, I'm going to combine it because we need to cover both the options in one session. So the hospital authorization process is exactly the same. If we look at Pace1, you'll see, and this is the same, the services need to be pre-authorized. There's no annual limit applicable, and we pay 100% of scheme tariffs. That is why making use of designated service providers who's on our network, very important, because they, in their contract, they agree to ask only or invoice only Bestmed tariffs, so there's no co-payment applicable. And this is the same on Beat4 as well. Now, within the hospital benefits, while you're in hospital, there's certain sub-limits. And you will see there that mental health clinics is 21 days, treatment of substance abuse, you get 21 days or a rand value, maxillofacial surgery, there's a rand value, dental and oral surgery, there's a rand value, and so you can go on. Prosthesis amounts, there's a rand value, refractive surgery, there's a rand value, and day procedures, we changed that, and we've covered that in the previous session where we said if you ask for authorization, for example, for something that's covered, that can be covered or done in a day hospital, and you insist on being admitted to a general hospital, but it's your choice, then there's a 2,500 rand co-payment. But when it's the doctor's choice, and he's a DSP, in other words, he's our network doctor, if he doesn't work in day clinics, but only in general hospitals, then you won't pay the 2,500 rand. So voluntary use, remember, there will be a co-payment. So in hospital, the most important thing is on Pace1, you need authorization. There's no annual limit, but there's certain sub-limits that's applicable. There's certain procedures that we only cover in day hospitals. And you must make sure that you make use of a doctor that's on our network, because then there won't be a co-payment. Now, over and above the hospital benefits, but it's kind of part of the hospital because it's standalone and it's not deducted anywhere, is on Pace1 you get for advanced radiology, that is MRIs, CT scans and PET scans. There's an amount available for that. And then for hearing aids, there's an amount available for it, and it's available per 24 months. It's not paid from your savings. It's go directly. I must stop using my hands like this, but you go directly into your scheme benefits. And then rehabilitation after trauma is, for example, when you had a stroke and you need occupational therapy afterwards, then it's unlimited, but it must be pre-authorized. And that's not deducted from your day-to-day. So this is Pace1. Now, if you move to Beat4, remember Beat4 is now the older sister, the more expensive system. I hope you can see my screen totally. The top is the same. You need pre-authorization. There's no overall limit. And we pay 100% of scheme tariffs. DSP network providers is preferred. So if you make use of our network providers, there's no co-payment. And then you have the sub-limits. But if you compare the sub-limits of Beat4 now with Pace1, you will see that in some cases it's higher. For example, let's take the dental and oral surgery. You have 11,000 on Beat4, on Pace1, and I do now what marketing said I'm not allowed to do. If you look at the dental and oral surgery on Pace1, it's 8,000 Rand, 8,800 per family, and on Beat4, it's 11,000, but you pay more monthly on Beat4. So the structure is the same, the rules and requirements is the same, but the amounts that you have access to is higher on Beat4 than compared to Pace1. The MRI CT scan, you have a higher amount available. Hearing aids, 11,000 Rand. Again, it's going directly into scheme benefits and paid from there. You have access to it every 24 months. And on Pace1, you had access to 8,000 Rand. Rehabilitation after trauma, the same. You need authorization and it's unlimited, but it must be authorized. This is then the hospital benefits. Now, I know that you ask about or something, most members have questions about designated service providers and the Bestmed network. Now, the most important incidents or cases where you need to try to make use of Bestmed network providers are when you are hospitalized for a PMB. Now, a PMB is a list of 272 procedures or treatments that by law we need to pay. We as a scheme need to pay, and we need to pay it in full, but we are allowed to have a network of providers, and we then need to pay it, but we need to pay it on all options. So instead of allowing members to go to any doctor and then have to pay 300 or 400% of the scheme tariff, we contracted with a network of providers that we call DSPs. And if you're hospitalized for any of those conditions, that 272 conditions, then we will tell you that you must make use, or you need to try to make use of a DSP, a doctor that's on our network. Why? Because then there's no co-payment, or he will ask what our tariff is, and we will pay that, and you won't have a co-payment. If you can't do this, or if you prefer not to go to DSPs, then I would suggest that you speak to your advisor or your intermediary and you take out gap cover that covers the cost, even for PMBs, between scheme tariffs and then the cost of the service provider. Another thing is when you're in an area where there's no DSP, and when I say an area, I mean physically like 50 kilometers and more, you need to liaise with the scheme, because then in that case, we override the rule, but it's a process. So you need to let us know in advance. And the department that works with this is excellent. They will try to find you a supplier that's willing to ask the fees that we claim or would we pay. Otherwise, they will contract with that provider, even if it's only for one case. But it's important that if you're in hospital, it's extremely important that you make use of network providers, especially if it's one of those PMB conditions. So that's a difference, which isn't really a difference between the hospital benefits of Pace1 and Beat4. It's the same kind of benefits and services that we cover. It's just higher amounts that we cover for those. Then we go to the most important thing, and what I think people belong to medical aid for, and that is medicine for benefits for medicine. Now, first of all, I want you to just forget for a moment the word chronic, because that is where all the questions start, is with the word chronic. We cover, Bestmed cover conditions, 27 conditions. We call it CDL conditions. We cover the medicine and the treatment of it from scheme benefits. And then there's 18 prescribed minimum benefits. 18 of those 272 that I talked about, those conditions include the treatment with medicine. We cover those medicines from scheme benefits. So that is already, you added up the conditions and the conditions that we cover the medicine as chronic medicine from scheme benefits. And then we have another list, and that is the non-CDL list. So that is an additional list of medicine that, from the kindness of our heart, we added those conditions to the options, and we pay for the medicine only for those conditions. So just to reframe it, because it might sound a little bit de mekaar. The first list, the 27, is a list of conditions that we got from the Department of Health and the CMS, and they told us for these 27 conditions, you need to pay for the following: the medicine, as well as the treatment for those conditions from scheme benefits, and you need to pay it on all the options. So it doesn't matter whether you're on a Beat1 or Pace1. We cover the conditions, the 27, we call it CDL conditions because it's chronic disease list conditions that the government told us. But those conditions, we cover your medicine and then the treatment that the government told us, the Department of Health told us, form part of the treatment protocol or the treatment plan. So when you register for one of those 27 conditions, we will send you a treatment plan, and on that treatment plan, we will list the services that we will cover as part of your treatment, and we will pay for it from scheme benefits, not your savings, from scheme benefits. So it's very important that you go through the list if you get the brochure now. And if you or your current wife or husband or children receive treatment or medicine for any of those conditions, that you register for it at Bestmed, because you get much more than only the medicine. You get the medicine and the treatment. But now it's important that you know that the treatment is limited to that the average person needs or gets. during the course of 12 months. And we don't decide it, the government again decided, and it's a prescribed list of treatment that you qualify that we need to pay as part of your treatment protocol. That's the first most, and that is the same on Pace1 and Beat4. The second list is 18. Oh, wait, I have a slide for that. So this is the list of CDL conditions. It's 27 conditions. It's the same for Pace1 and the same for Beat4, that we cover your medicine as well as your treatment, but it's basic treatment. It's like one GP visit, one, it all depends on which condition, but it's prescribed. We don't have a choice. We just execute the treatment plan of the Department of Health. And then it's coded per ICD-10 code. So each of these conditions have an ICD-10 code that's like a trigger. So if you see the specialist and they use that condition's ICD-10 code, it will trigger on our system when the claims come in, and we will pay it from the right benefit pool. There's no difference between Pace1 and Beat4. The treatment plan is the same and the conditions are the same. Then there's 18 PMB conditions. Remember I said the prescribed minimum benefit is a list of 272 treatments or procedures that by law we need to cover on all options. Now, these conditions can range from, having a miscarriage to having a stroke. But 18 of them include medicine as part of the treatment. And that, again, is covered on both the options, the same. Pace1 and Beat4, the conditions are the same. And it's the medicine is covered, and the process that you apply is the same as other PMBs. I will come to that. So those two are the same, and we do that on all the options, but we work according to a medicine formulary. So if you receive treatment, if you have asthma and you register for asthma and you're on Beat1 is our hospital plan, then the range of medicine on our medicine formulary, is a medicine list. So the range of items from your medicine formulary for asthma on Beat1 is much more restricted than if you're on Beat4 or Pace1. Your choices are wider because you pay more monthly. Okay, so that's the difference. Remember, there's a formulary that we work, that we will authorize the medicine for. But the biggest difference in terms of medicine between the two options is if we come to the non-CDL conditions. And non-CDL conditions means it is where the scheme decide which condition we're going to add to which option, and we will cover only the medicine from scheme benefits. Then the other treatment will form part of your day-to-day benefits. Now on Pace1, there's 7 conditions. And these 7 conditions is, there's 7 conditions. And if you look at Beat4, there's 9 conditions. Now what you will see that there's an amount listed there. Now, one thing that you need to remember is these lists, the PMB, as well as the CDL conditions, the medicines, you can never run out of benefits for it. It's an unlimited benefit. So, but it will be paid from the amounts on the screen if you're a Pace1 member. But once that amount is depleted, you will still be able to get your asthma medicine. But your non-CDL conditions, if you're on Pace1, these 7 conditions, it will be paid from that amount, and once it's depleted, you won't be able to get it anymore. Now, if you have a medicine for a non-CDL, that's on all the non-CDL conditions, you have a co-payment of 10%. So on your PMB medicine and your CDL medicine, there's no co-payment if it's on the formulary, except if it's higher than the MRP. I will explain now. But if you're taking a non-CDL medicine, there's a co-payment of 10%. If something is not on the formulary, there's a co-payment of 25% on Pace1. Okay. And then if you're on Beat4, then the amounts are higher. You have a 10% co-payment on non-CDL formulary medicine. You have it on Pace1 as well. And your co-payment, if something is not on the formulary, is 20%. So that is a difference. But I want to show you something that I'm very proud of. Condition number 7. Remember, these conditions, these non-CDL conditions, those are all conditions that's limited to the amount that's on the screen. And major depression is one of it. So in the past, when you reach your 14,000 Rand, we stopped paying for your depression medication. You had to pay it from your own pocket. We changed that in 2022. We said we will regard that as if it's a CDL condition. So the limit won't apply to it. And the same on Beat4. Major depression, you will get your medicine even if you reach your limit of 16,000 Rand. Okay. And then remember the 2 additional conditions on Beat4. Some people that's on Beat4 might consider downgrading to Pace1. Remember, go make the calculations, because sometimes GORT, it's these reflux condition or something. Sometimes the medicine is very expensive, and what you pay monthly, or what you're going to pay monthly for your medicine, because you downgraded to Pace1, might be more than the difference in the subscription between Pace1 and Beat4. So you could just as well have stayed on Beat4. The same with obsessive compulsive disorder. So go make sure that the cost of the medicine that's now not covered on Pace1 as a chronic, but as an acute, that it's, that it's affordable, that when you run out of benefits, that you can pay it from your own pocket. Now, how do our formularies and co-payments work? For our CDL and non-CDL conditions, if something is on the formulary, there's no co-payment. But I must say MRP applies. And now MRP means medical reference or medicine reference price list. Sorry. It is, how I understand it, it is the generic medicine, the cost of the generic medicine. So it might be that 1 month you don't have a co-payment. The next month you have a 2.20 Rand co-payment or 7.20 Rand co-payment. It means that during the past month, they've developed and produced a new generic medicine that's cheaper than the one that you use. So they work on the average cost of the generic medicine. I stopped trying to understand, but usually use generics, and we will tell you when we authorize it, use generic medicine with prices that fall within the average of the medicine reference price list, because we take the average cost of the generic medicine. And if you take a medicine or your doctor prescribe a medicine that fall within that average, then there's no co-payment. And if possible, especially if you're diagnosed with a new chronic condition, make use of something that's on the formulary. Pace1, if a CDL or a PMB condition medicine is not on the formulary, you have a 25% co-payment. So I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, 25% can be very high if your medicine is expensive. And remember, that is on top of your medical aid. So if possible, try to use medication that's on the formulary, and more even, use a generic medicine that fall the price within the medicine reference price list. We will provide you, when we send you a list, when you register for medicine, for a CDL condition, we will say these conditions and these medicine are authorized. And then in the bottom of, or underneath the table, we usually, if there's a 20 or a 25% co-payment, we say, we give you the names of the items that's cheaper, that or that's just on the formulary, that you can ask your doctor to rather prescribe to you. I think I've included the Beat4. If there's a 20% co-payment if something is not on the formulary, and that is for PMBs and then CDL condition medicine. Remember that major depression, we will treat it, I've said it previously, we will treat it as if it's a non-CDL, CDL, which means that limit of 18,000 and 14,000 doesn't apply to that condition. We're very kind. Okay. How do you register? I did not include all the slides because that will take about an hour to explain the medicine processes. But if you go to the website and have a look there, all the forms are there, all the formularies are there. You can download the application form, must be submitted with the script. If you need to repeat it every 6 months, you can just send a new script. Remember, it's not our rule that you need to send us new scripts every 6 months. It's the Medicine Council rule that you need to submit a new script every 6 months. Also, if sometimes they prescribe an item and then it doesn't work in the first month, they give you another item, then what you do, you don't need to complete the forms again. You just send us a script, the new script, and say, my doctor changed it because that one had the wrong symptoms or doesn't work with me. You don't need to go through the whole process again, but you don't need to pay for it as acute. During that process, it can be paid as chronic medicine. New members, it's extremely important that you note that even if you listed on our application form that you have chronic conditions and you listed the medicine that we take in, there might be a chance that because the two processes in the past worked separately. So there's a period, or there was a time that we didn't share the information. So make sure that if you take medicine for those conditions, and it's a lot of conditions, if you take medicine for those conditions, that you register for it so that it be paid from chronic medicine and not from your day-to-day benefits. Okay, right. Then we move on. So that is the chronic medicine. So on Pace1 and Beat4, we cover the same conditions, except for the CDL. There's 2 CDLs on Beat4 that we cover that we don't cover on Pace1. And now I have a question for Jackie because I can't remember. The formulary for Pace1 and Beat4, are that the same?
Hi, Almarie. Beat4 and Pace1, let me just double check that for you. I don't want to give you the incorrect information. Let me just double check. I'll get back to you now.
Okay, I knew I can ask a good question that even I can't answer it for you. So we will come back whether the formula is the same. But the co-payments, you understand, the one is 25 and the one is 20%. Jackie will have a look at the formulary. Optical benefits. Remember, it's a standalone benefit. It's not deducted from your day-to-day benefit. And for that reason, we contracted with PPN. And I know members but don't like the process because you are required to go to a PPN provider. And but it is really, we made the calculations. It is in your best interest. It is, they negotiate the lower cost for the average member. There might be some optometrists that can give you lower prices, but the average, it is the best for most of our members. Now, if you make use of a PPN provider, and PPN, you can use their website, it's www.ppn.co.za. You can find a provider, you can even log in Bestmed and your member number and see what benefits you have available. For a frame, we cover 1,000 Rand every 2 years. This is now Pace1. And then 100% of the cost of the standard lenses, and that is single vision, bifocal, or multifocal. For contact lenses, but that is an or, it's not an and. It's 1,840. Now, you will remember there was years and years and years and another year that we had only about 600 Rand for frame. Now, we've increased that during 2022 quite a lot to 1,000 Rand. If you go to a non-network provider, so you insist voluntarily to go to a non-network provider, then we will pay certain amounts. You will see frame only 750, single vision lens 250, bifocal 460. It doesn't mean that if you go to a PPN that the value of the single vision lens is only 215 Rand. It's not true. It's only when you go to a non-PPN provider that we have those low limits. We pay the cost of your lenses provided that you go to a PPN provider. And that is very important for you to remember. You will see that there's no difference between Pace1 optical benefits. You get it every 24 months. And if I say 24 months, I mean 24 months to the day. On Pace1, every beneficiary, and then Beat4, every beneficiary every 24 months. Okay. Maternity benefits. It's again a standalone. You qualify for 9 antenatal consultations at a family practitioner. I'm still of the old class that speak about general practitioner or GP, but it's a family practitioner or a gynae or a midwife, and then 1 postnatal consultation at the same. That is paid from scheme benefits. Remember, we're not at your savings yet, and we're not at your day-to-day yet. Ultrasounds, 1 2D in the first trimester and 1 2D in the second trimester, again at those providers. And you get 9 refills of supplements, and it's part of the maternity. So the supplements, there's a kind of a formulary or a list of supplements, but it's mainly folic acid or iron, those kind of things that expecting mom needs in supplement, as a supplement. And I think you can only be 9 months pregnant, so there's 9 months of refills, and you can claim 127 Rand per month per claim. And as I said, for 9 months, hopefully. You will note that there's no difference, I just want to make sure, between the Pace1 and the Beat4 maternity program. we see Beat4. The Beat4 Pace1, exactly the same benefits. Okay, so 9 consultations. Preventative care benefits on Beat4, remember it's again a standalone. We're not yet at your savings or your day-to-day. It's standalone. Your preventative care benefits are listed there. I think I just need to take Jackie's name away, and then you can see the list of items that services that we cover. And the new ones is that we cover the insertion of the IUD or Marina device, basically what it is, every 5 years. Pap smear females every 18 months, from 18 years and older, every 24 months. Mammograms are covered. Preventative dentistry, that is scrub, skill and polish. And then if you compare that with Pace1, you will see that, and I'm going to take a chance by saying it is the same than Beat4. And if somebody can quote me out and tell me it's not, I will buy them a chocolate, but it's exactly the same. So preventative care benefits, the same. And then the tempo benefits, that is our wellness benefits, that is the same on all the options. And we make provision for, remember, you go for a health assessment at a pharmacy nurse, then you have access to a biokineticist that will do a fitness test and give you an exercise plan, or you go to a dietitian and she will give you a diet plan. And now we have a new one, emotional well-being journey, that's available on the website and the app. And next year there will be preventative care. We will just link your preventative care benefits also with the app. But wait, there's more. Next year we will also, in addition to the biokineticist and the fitness plan, you will be able to have a choice to only make use of the app or make use of the app and the bio and follow your own program on the app. Where there's challenges, we will integrate with your fitness device. There will be a leaderboard if you give permission. We will integrate with events. Very, 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 very nice. I'm very proud of it. And the same with the nutrition journey. You will set your own target. You will lock your calories, follow your own diet, or you can incorporate the diet plan that your dietitian provides you. And everything will be mobile and or online, sorry, and it's on the website as well as the app. Please test or go try the emotional well-being. We build it around know, do, and achieve. All 3 or all 4 the journeys. Know is we provide you with information, but it's and now I forgot the word again. Know is where we provide you with information or education about the subject. And do is we give you exercises so that you develop skills that you've learned, that you can apply it. And achieve is then if you reach, I have a Jack Russell. And then 3rd is then achieve is then your goals that you've met. So please go and test and practice the emotional well-being journey, and then we will let us know what you think of it. I run quickly through it because I know I have 15 minutes left, and you have a lot of questions as well. Everything that we covered so far, Jackie, did you get the answer yet?
Yes, Almarie, I did. Beat4 and Pace1 do not have the same formularies. Pace1 follows what we call the medium formulary, and Beat4 falls within the high formulary.
Okay, so that is, if you forgive my language, a motor difference, a huge difference. So what it means is when the list of medicine that your doctor can choose from that's on the formulary on Pace1 will be more restricted than on Beat4. So why I'm saying this is if you consider to downgrade from Beat4 to Pace1, make sure that the item that you got, authorized on Beat4 is available on the formulary of Pace1, because otherwise, remember, there's a 25% co-payment, and that co-payment can hit you hard every month. Medicine is, if you decide on upgrade or downgrade, medicine is extremely important, because the co-payment, I want to say, can kill you, but it's the wrong word for a medical scheme to use. But it's an additional cost, and it's additional monthly cost that will feel like it never ends. It's repeatedly. So please make sure that if you go to the website or you send the email to medicine@bestmed.co.za, they are excellent and quick in their response. They will tell you, yes, you can, but remember, this item is not covered on the formulary of Pace1, so you have a co-payment that's higher than what it was on Beat4. So thank you, Jackie, for making the effort. So now we're in hospital, we got glasses, we had medicine, and we were pregnant, and preventative care benefits, and we ran a marathon, all the wellness stuff. Everything that we've talked about were standalone benefits. Now we're coming to the day-to-day benefits. And the day-to-day benefits, and this is my best picture, and the marketing is never eager to use it, because it's only me who think it's good, but I love it. You have an annual savings on both the Pace1 and Beat4. You have an annual savings at the bottom. We call it an annual individual medical savings account, and that is one of the mistakes the medical scheme industry made when we named it savings account, because the day that we called it savings account, and the guilty party was Discovery when they registered the word savings account, the members think in your mind that the savings account is something that you don't want to use. You shouldn't use it, because it's a separate, it's like an ABSA or Standard Bank savings account. It's for whenever you need something extra. It's not the case. And medical savings account, it's part of your benefit structure. You need to use it, because otherwise you won't be able to get to the day-to-day scheme benefits. So on both Pace1 and Beat4, the structure is the same. You have an annual savings account, then you have day-to-day benefits, that's scheme benefits. I usually say the savings is your money, but you determine what you can use it for. Then we give you day-to-day benefits, but there's two limits that you need to take note of. One is the overall limit, there's an annual limit, and then there's service-specific limits, like for acute medicine, for GP visits, for dentistry, there's amounts for those. And then there's the overall. So I will explain as we carry on. Vested savings, I want to park that slightly so that I will come to that. So your annual savings, if we talk about that on Beat4, it consists of 14% of your total contribution is allocated to your savings account. And we give you the total amount in the beginning of the year. On the 1st of January, you will have 14% of what you and your family would have paid us for the year, and we allocate it to the savings. Say you pay us per month whatever, but the 14% of that is 1,000 rand per month. Then we're going to open your savings account with 12,000 rand. I knew I had to do calculations before, but I didn't. Say you pay 14% per month is 1,000 rand, 12 months. So now it's 12,000 you have in your savings in the beginning of the year. Now, everything that's not paid from your hospital benefits or from your chronic medicine or your treatment plan or your optical benefits, anything that's, you know, over and above what we covered so far, are paid from your savings first. But the money that's in your savings account can only be used for you and your family's expenses, nobody else's. So that is why it's called savings or individual savings account. It can't be used to cross-subsidize other people's expenses. And if you still you have money in your annual savings and you leave Bestmed, which you will never want to do, but when you leave Bestmed, that money needs to be transferred with you. It always stay your property. Okay. And then if you resign from Bestmed, why I need to repeat that now, I don't know. So that's important. You get it in advance, 14%, and it's in the beginning of the year you get it, and we pay all your claims from there until it's depleted. And what makes us different from other orange schemes is we don't have a self-payment gap. Other schemes, once you depleted your savings, you need to pay in out of your own pocket and then you enter into your day-to-day. We don't have that. You immediately goes into your day-to-day benefit. Oh, here it is. I knew it. Okay. So if you're a single member, am I right? This is a savings account. No, yes. So we are the savings account amount, that 12,000, but it is not 12,000 for a principal. If you're married to an adult, hopefully you are, you have 16,900 Rand, close to 17,000 Rand in your savings account. Now you can use that for any kind of medical service, but we have rules linked to it. First of all, it must be the provider that offer you this service must be registered with the Health Professional Council of South Africa, and medicine must have a NAPI code. That's the most important thing. And then we limit you to only use 1,057 Rand for over-the-counter medicine. Remember, over-the-counter medicine is medicine that you get without a script. Okay. That is what you can pay from your savings account. And then also we say you're not allowed to pay for optical services because you have it with PPN. You can't use your annual savings for tinting of the lenses, but I'll explain that when I go to the vested savings. So those are the rules linked to it. So the bigger your family, the bigger your savings account. If you have if you have one wife and two children, you have 21,000 Rand in your annual savings. And we will use that first, and then we go into your day-to-day benefits. With Pace1, the same, the individual savings, wait for it. You have 19% savings account. So it's higher, but remember, you will see the amount. It's not really higher because Beat4 pays more. So 14% of a higher amount is higher. It took me about 50 years to learn that. So on Pace1, your savings account is 19% of your annual contribution. And if you married to an adult, it's 17,000 Rand. If you married and two children, you have 23,000 Rand in your savings account. The same rules apply. If the provider that you sent in a claim must be registered with the Health Profession Council. The medicine, it can be, what do you call it? You know what I mean? But they mix, but it must be registered and it must have a NAPI code. And over-the-counter medicine, the same limit, 1,057 Rand can be used. There's one thing that was on this slide that's not on the other. If you have savings left in your annual amounts left in your annual savings by the end of the year, then wait for it. We will pay you interest on that amount. There's no other scheme that pay interest on positive balances in the savings account. And we carry it over to the following year. But you will see it on your statement only in May. And the reason why you will see it only in May is because we need to wait for 4 months for claims to be submitted. So in May, then you will see it. And then it changed its name to vested savings. So that is the difference between vested and annual savings. But we will come back to vested savings. So now we're back. You've now utilized, you will Beat4 or Pace1, you've utilized your annual savings, the 21 and the 23,000. And now you enter into your day-to-day benefits, the scheme benefits. Now, again, there's 2 limits that's important. The first one is there's an overall annual limit. And the second is the service-specific limits. And whichever one you reach first, we stop paying. Now, in the USD family, my family, every year we reach the dentistry benefit first. And then we have like 10 or 11,000 Rand left, but we don't need the others. We just need more dentistry benefits. But unfortunately, we can't move around. It's set. So you have an overall limit on Beat4, 14,000 if you're single. And if you're a family, and a family is anything more than one, you have 28,000 Rand. And then the sub-limits are listed there. And we've only listed a few. You have family, there it is again. GP and specialist consultation. If you're a single person, you have 3,500. Family, 6,400 Rand. Dentistry, see, the US has used 12,400 very quickly. Medical aid, medical aids and apparatus, appliances, supplementary benefits. It's a very good benefit. Supplementary benefits cover your psychologist, physiotherapist, biokineticist, occupational therapist, child psychologist. I want to say vet, but it's unfortunately not. And then also dietitian, all the auxiliary kind of services, and wound care services, basic radiology and pathology, and acute medicine. If we can stand still a little bit at acute medicine, what is acute medicine? And that is why I hate the word chronic and acute, because chronic means, in my terms, it's repeated medicine that you need on a repeat basis. And then you think it needs to be paid as chronic. It's not correct. Chronic medicine is medicine that for certain conditions that we cover from scheme benefits, and we call it chronic medicine benefits. Acute medicine is everything else except over-the-counter medicine, and then supplements and all of those. Acute medicines are, it can be medicine that you take on a repeat basis, for example, for restless leg disease. It's not a non-CDL, it's not a PMB, it's not a CDL condition, and it's also not a non-CDL condition. I'm so sorry. But it's a sickness condition that you take medicine on a monthly basis, but it needs to be paid from acute medicine because it doesn't qualify to be paid as chronic medicine. But remember, in the beginning of the year, we will first pay for these expenses from your annual savings till it's depleted. Then we go into your day-to-day benefits, and then you have these limits. But overall, you have that 28,000 that you can't claim more than that. On Pace1, exactly the same. You have two limits. You have overall limit, 12,000 if you're a single person. If you're family, anything more than one is 24,000. And then you have service-specific limits. You will see that this is a difference between the two options. The overall limits are lower on Pace1 compared to Beat4, and the service-specific limits are also lower on the Pace1 option compared to Beat4. There was another thing that okay. So, and when you reach one of these limits, then we will stop paying. There's a lot of members that once they notice that their savings, their annual savings is depleted, they stop claiming. Now, we like it because then we save a lot, but it's wrong, because once your savings are depleted, you only started having access to benefits. Then you enter into the scheme benefits. Okay. So when you have a good year, and a good year means that you don't deplete your annual savings. Now, then that amount are transferred and become, we call it the vested savings. So the vested savings is unutilized annual savings. And I moved the wrong way. So it's just, and what is vested savings? It is savings of the previous year that you didn't use. So it might be, we had it once that we claimed about 200,000 Rand in hospital, but we never used our savings. But it was a bad year for us, but luckily everything was hospital benefits. But our savings carried over then to the next year and become vested savings. Now, if you have vested savings, then you can use your vested savings to supplement anything else that you need. So then, if you need more over-the-counter medicine, it can be paid from it. When you reach one of your sub-limits, you can tell us paid from my vested savings. But your vested savings will show in your statement, and it will get interest year after year after year. Promise you. Contributions, I'm nearly done, I promise. Beat4 cost principal members 5,500 Rand. Adult dependent, that is now your spouse, 4,500, and a child is 1,300. And compared to Pace1 is 4,600 principal, adult 3,200. You will note the difference. Those of you that consider more than one wife, this might be the best option. And then child is 1,100 Rand. Remember, speaking about children, you only pay for 3 children. Child number 4 is for free. And remember that adult children, even if your child is has done matric or whatever and is younger, 24 and younger, we regard him as a child. He won't feel that way, but we regard him as a child, and they will pay a child dependent fee up to the year of 24. And then if he studies, then we need you need to submit proof that he's registered, and then he can carry on paying a child fee up to the age of 26 years. So this also makes us a little bit different than other medical schemes. The app is a wonderful thing. You need to register on the app for the main reason because Tempo, the wellness is on the app, but also what I like about the app is you can see clearly your benefits. So it takes that surprise factor out of your relationship with the scheme. You can see you had 5,000 for GPs, you have 2,000 left. I will always tell my husband, you can't go to the dentist because there's nothing left, and then there's left for me. But you can see all your benefits on the app. There's the electronic card. You can see the doctors, the specialists that's on the network. You can now follow your wellness stuff. I did say that. You can take a photo and submit a claim through to Bestmed. You can change your contact details on the app. We get a lot of questions about how to reach Bestmed. This is a summary of where we are. We have regional offices in all the main provinces, even in Free State. No, we don't have in the Free State. We have one in Welkom. And then we have WhatsApp, we have fax, website, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. If you have questions on today's session, I'm going to open the floor now for questions. But if you have a question that you feel that you want to ask, and you did ask it and it wasn't answered properly, you can send it to escalations. Diresh Ramdin is the head of operations, and he will oversee that process and make sure that you receive an answer. Ladies and gentlemen, I've tried my best to cover all the slides in 1 hour, and I got it. But if you can just remember that the structure, because people don't understand, you have your annual savings, and then you have your overall day-to-day. And overall day-to-day, you have an annual limit of in the 20s, either 24 or 28,000, and sub-limits. So, and if you don't use your savings, it transfers to the next year as vested savings. And now I'm going to open the floor for questions. If you can just raise your hand, and then we're going to unmute you. Please don't ask difficult questions. We had a long day. Corlia, you are first. And somebody just unmute Corlia.
Hi, Almarie Collier is unmuted. They can just unmute themselves on their side and start talking.
All right. Thank you.
Hi, Almarie. I'm Cordia, but I didn't post the question.
Oh, your hand is up. No, but then
that was right in the beginning. Sorry, I wanted to say
Okay.
that I didn't sound at that time. I'm sorry.
All right. No, then you can just give us a compliment, and then it's all good. Right.
Okay.
I see Karen Ketz, and I know that there's an email of her, so I'm going to ignore her because I know that there's an unread email of hers in my inbox. Alet now?
Almarie, yes, I've just got a question about hearing aids. I see somebody else have also asked the question on the group, is that the medical aid only pays about 8,000 Rand towards hearing aids, but it costs about 30,000 Rand. Do we claim the difference from our gap cover, or how does it work?
It all depends on your gap cover. If your gap cover, because there's I think I stopped counting at 20 different kinds of gap cover. So just make sure that they do cover it. But you can claim it from vested savings, the difference. So if you in the fortunate position that you didn't use your annual savings and you add it up as part of your vested savings, then you can pay it from there. I'll let the options Beat4 and Pace1. I will be very honest with you. Traditionally, or hearing aids were like kind of something that elderly people need. And we placed it on the options where all the comprehensive benefits and comprehensive treatments are. So you will note if you go through the brochure of Pace2 and Pace3 that there's an amount of, I think, 30,000 Rand per beneficiary per second year or fourth year. So clearly that is where we kind of, you know, there's a better benefit for it. But I do understand that sometimes it doesn't help you to be on an option where you pay 2,000 Rand more a month for a benefit that you use once every 4 years. So we just had to make those kind of decisions. So it's low on Pace1, it's 8,000, and then on Beat4 it's 11,000. But it's not, previously it was paid from your savings first. It's not, it's going directly from scheme benefits.
Thank you.
Karen, if you're going to shout at me because I did not respond to your email yet, I know.
Not at all, Elmarie, not at all. I'm good, thank you.
All right. Your question?
No, I don't have a question.
Yeah. All right. Sorry then. Monica? Am I looking at the wrong place, people?
Good evening. I just
Hello.
want to know, hello,
Hello.
good evening. I just want to know what are your benefits for stoma products?
That fall under, help me, Jackie, appliances.
Elmarie, stoma products are usually used for either a CDL or PMB condition 98% of the time. So it all depends on the condition. So if it is for a CDL or PMB condition, we will approve it as such, and then it will be paid from scheme benefits. If it is for a non-CDL condition, it will also be approved as such and then logged to the limit. But the best would be if the member can just send us the member number and the details to medicine@bestmed.co.za, then we can investigate and advise.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Walter? Walter, if you can just, there you are.
Thank you. Elmarie, what is the lowest option for a joint replacement for PMB?
Okay. Joint replacements, if it's a PMB, is covered on all the options. But
All
the
the
thing,
options.
yeah, all the options. But the thing is, you need to be careful because joint replacements usually are not a PMB. It is few cases when it is indeed or qualify to be paid as PMBs. Joint replacement, if it is because of, I want to say wear and tear, or if it's because of an existing condition, then it's not a PMB. So if you ran 70 marathons and now your knee is, you know, giving you a hard time, then it's not a PMB. And then the lowest product that we cover then joint replacements is Pace2.
Pace2.
Yeah, the only, and it's difficult for me to give you an example when it's a PMB, because sometimes I usually said when you fall and you break your knee, then, and sometimes, and then they will, I read an article that they say, no, sometimes you can fall because your knee gave in because of wear and tear, and then it's not a PMB. So it's not that easy to tell. But if you're in a motor car accident, for example, and with a motorbike, and they hit you on your knee and you need to replace it, and there were never issues with your knee, then it's an emergency, it's part of the accident. The source or the reason for the joint replacement is different. In that case, it's covered on all the options, but you will see there's prosthesis limits, then that's applicable. But for aging, it's part of, you know, aging process, those kind of joint replacements, it's from Pace2 and upwards.
Okay, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Before you run away, what is your email address? Your email address.
My email address is my name and surname. If you can see it on the screen somewhere, it's
I've got
Elmarie,
it, I've got
with a full stop in between, elmarie.uester@bestmed.co.za.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure.
Thanks. Okay,
Yes.
bye.
Yasmin, I hope I pronounce your name correct. Yasmin, do you have a question? Otherwise, we're going to Farouk. I'm watching a TV series with the actor with that name, Farouk. Okay, let's give Happy a chance. Happy?
Hello.
Hello.
I just want to ask about the dental braces for kids. Is there an age limit? And then also, is it covered on both Beat3 and Pace1? Beat4, sorry.
Beat4 and Pace1, it's not as it's part of your dentistry benefits. So you will see that if you look at Pace2 and Pace3, you will see they have an orthodontic benefit, a separate benefit. But on Beat4 and Pace1, it's part of your dentistry benefit. So it's first paid from your savings, and then it's paid from your dentistry benefit. Contact center, was I right with my answer? Ismos.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay. Peter.
Peter who?
Merensky.
Oh, Emery, yes, we've got a question.
Yes. Are you
Walker.
family of Hans Merensky?
Yes.
That's a long story.
All right. Yes.
I'm using, my wife is using warfarin.
Yes.
They won't put it on chronic because they say the treatment is not in accordance with the funding guidelines. What on earth do they mean by that?
Okay. I think if you send your email to medicine@Bestmed and say you asked this question last night, so that Jackie can phone you and explain to you the answer. Will that be okay?
Yes, because we did get the doctor to okay all the chronics, and it just they just don't want to put this on chronic. So I will send it through to medicine@Bestmed. Thank you, Elmarie.
Because they will phone, because there's no general answer. It all depends on the patient. So they will have a look. One of the pharmacists will go into your file and then answer you what's applicable to your case specifically. Otherwise, it's a general answer, which is not right. Okay.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Right.
Farouk. Make peace, not war.
Good evening. Can you hear me, Anne-Marie?
Yes, I can. I can.
Okay. What I wanted to check with the medical aid is that if I decide, or maybe I've got a condition that I actually want to be addressed by the homeopathic doctor, and then I go to the homeopathic doctor, I pay cash. When I come back with the receipts and stuff like that, does the medical aid refund a consultation and medication given by the homeopathic doctor? Thank you.
Okay. All right. I'm going to answer you, and Jackie, you're going to correct me, or anybody of claims. It all depends on the invoice, the claim that you give us with the receipt that you paid them. They must be registered with HPCSA. They must have that is a rule. They must have a practice number. And the medicine that they give you must have a NAPI code, and then we will reimburse you. Am I right?
Yes, you are correct.
Okay, so it all depends. You can't give us only the receipt. I spoke to a member this week about it as well. He bought something at Discount and only submitted the receipt, but there's no NAPI code on the receipt. So he could have bought other stuff. We don't know. So you need to ask the homeopath to give you a document that stipulates her practice number, her registration, and what treatment she gave you. So all the detail must be on there. And then if she gave you medicine, or he gave you medicine, the NAPI code of the medicine must be on it. And then you can submit it, and then we will reimburse you. That is the rules.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure. Lawrence? Otherwise, we're going to Ilse.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Lauren. Yes.
I just wanted to ask Corey, do you specific say this doctor is registered with Bestmed, or can any doctor that I wish to go, I can go?
Yes, you can go to any doctor. You can go to any doctor, but we pay medical aid with Bestmed tariffs. So if you go to Dr. Greiling and she's not on our network and she asks 700 Rand a consultation, and our tariff for a GP is 500 Rand, we will only pay 500 Rand. If you go to a doctor that's on our network, we guarantee you that they will only claim the amounts that's our tariffs. So there won't be a difference between the tariffs. And that is the difference. But we don't restrict you. You can go to anyone. But we only pay a certain amount towards certain services. And our network providers agreed to ask only that amount from our members when they see them.
So it's best if I first ask, are you with Bestmed?
You can even sit in your car and look it up on the website or on the app before you consult him or before you make an appointment. I know it's difficult if you change a GP, especially a GP, because you see them often. But what you can do, and what members don't realize, is if you consult a GP for years now and is really you don't really want to change, send us his details, because the department that works with this is excellent. They will reach out to that doctor and invite them to join the Bestmed network. We can't force them, we can't make them, but we can just we can tell them all the benefits if they are a Bestmed network provider, and then perhaps he agrees, and then he's a network provider. So if you seeing specialists and GPs that's not on the network, send us their details. we will reach out to them and ask them whether they want to join the network. And if they join, you know that, then you're safe. If they don't want, we can't, unfortunately, we can't make them join, but we tried. And, but then but if they don't, it's better for you to make, especially with specialists, because a GP consultation, the difference is sometimes up to 150 Rand, which you can cope with. But as soon as you go to the specialist, the difference sometimes between the non-network and the network, it can be a lot of money.
So I must just Google the doctors who's registered.
Yeah, if you open the app of Bestmed and you register on the app, then there's a provider network. If you click on that, you choose the provider, GP or which specialist, and then it gives you choose the suburb, or it even gives you the GPS coordinates of where the doctors are. So you can choose it there. But I use the website. It's easier for me because I can't see. So you go to the website, you log in, it's on the secure site, and then you put in, say, general practitioner in Eldorraine, and it provides you the list of the GPs in this area that's on the network.
Thank you very much, Anna.
Pleasure. Ilse, you're our last call, and then we're done. You can unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm just interested. I'm on Pace 2 at the moment. Is it better to stay on Pace 2 or Pace 1? And at the moment, it looks like Beat4 is actually better than Pace 1.
Okay, there's a lot of differences between Pace 2 and Beat4 again. I will answer you. It's better, let me rephrase that. Attend a session on Pace 2 so that you can understand what it's, how what the differences are on Pace 2, and then send me your member number, or you can send your member number to escalations and ask for a comparison, because what they then will do is they will take your claims profile, or the department that work with it, in my division, they will take your claims profile of your history, and they will compare it with the benefits of Pace 1, as if you were on Pace 1. And then they will tell you what you would have paid from your own pocket if you were on Pace 1, because we work on your history. So then you can see whether it's in your best interest to change to Pace 1 or not.
Okay, I understand that. I just want to find out, because I'm luckily not that sick at this stage. I see an endocrinologist twice a year, and that's basically about it for doctors or specialists. And then I've got my chronic medicine, so I must apply for all of the chronic medicine, like the PCOS and hypothyroidism, and there's 3 or 4 like that. I must apply specifically. Must I print out the form? And I'm going to the doctor now, end of the month. Must I take it with that she can fill it in, and then must she apply, or can she just fill it in and I send it to you?
Are you not registered currently for chronic medicine for those conditions?
Not all of the medicine.
Okay.
Not all of it, and I use it every 6 months. I go for my 6-month prescription at the endocrinologist.
Okay,
so I pay a lot of it out of my pocket.
Yeah, see, you need to, and it's paid from your option on Pace 2, but as acute, because you're not registered for it.
Yeah.
You can send us an email. You can either send to escalation, just your member number, and say, you attended this session. We will recall you attended this session. You have questions about your option choice and especially your medicine, and it's urgent. And then can you change to Pace1 or Beat4? And we will go into your claims profile and history, and we will answer you. It's better that way than, you know, it's difficult for us to answer it like without anything in front of us.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I understand. It's fine. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank
Johan,
you.
Johan, I promise you, you're now the last one.
First of all, thank you very much for taking my question. All I would like to know is if I'm on Pace1 and I need a knee replacement due to normal wear and tear or stroke age, so it won't be possible on Pace1. One have to upgrade to Beat4 or Pace2. Am I correct with that statement?
Yes, but not Beat4, Pace2.
Pace2.
Yeah. Are you part of a corporate?
Yes, basically.
Okay. Because in most cases, I will suggest sometimes that you leave your current wife on the lower option and just the patient move up, but sometimes that will affect your subsidy. So if that's yeah.
I don't get a subsidy. Sorry, man. I actually misunderstand you.
Okay.
Elmarie.
All right. I think, yeah, if you sent an email that we can have a look, if you know that you need it this year, 2023, but
Yes.
sometimes if you're paying the total amount from your own pocket,
Yes.
what I suggest, and now you know it's recorded, so my boss is going to hear this, but what I sometimes suggest, if you pay everything from your own pockets, you can leave your current wife on where you are now, and only you will go up to Pace2, and you stay separate for a year, and then at the end of the year you go back again to the same option.
Elmarie, thank you so much for the info. Appreciate it.
Okay.
You know, that's in the near future. That might happen.
Okay.
It could
Remember,
happen.
just
Yeah.
remember, you need to, you're only allowed to change once, December for January, and you need to stay in that new option for a year. You can't in the middle change. All right. So that's important.
No, fine. I understand that. Thank you very much for the confirmation. Appreciate that.
It's a pleasure.
Thank
Ladies
you.
and gentlemen, we can only afford overtime for the team till now. So I'm so glad you didn't ask longer or ask more questions. Thank you so much for attending tonight's session. We will send you not this presentation, but one separate one for Pace1 and one separate one for Beat4, and then the recording with my dogs barking in it and my swearing, and you will receive it within the next few days. The team are very good. I want to thank the marketing team who organized this, who managed it, who helped me when I got anxious with the slides, to the panelists to answer all your questions, and I see that there's only 3 outstanding, to my team answering questions that will come in after the session and who's going to answer all the questions that I'm going to forward to them. And for you who took the time to attend, thank you so much. We appreciate it.